Hello and welcome to a new session with edupediaworld.com, your favorite portal for online education. Well, today we shall be starting with the second topic under measures of central tendency. Yeah, exactly. It is the median. So, what is median? Well, median is basically a positional average, whereas arithmetic mean, which we saw in the last session, is your mathematical center where the magnitude is taken into account. But here it's only the position of the data which is taken into account. So generally we can say it is the mid value of the data, or in other words we can say median of the distribution is that value of the variate which divides it into two equal parts. Now sometimes you may have a number which in the middle which is same as a number after it or before it. So a precise or a better definition is it is that value such that at least half of the observations are less than or equal to it, and at least half of the observations are greater than or equal to it. Alright, so let's see how to find the median from a given data. As usual, we know we have the data given as the raw data, or we have the frequency distribution, which could be either ungrouped or grouped, that is having the class intervals. So let's start with the raw data. Let's see if there is raw data given, how to find the median, and then gradually we will proceed to frequency distribution, both grouped and ungrouped. Let's take an example. Let's say that we have some data like say 5, 12, 18, 23 and 27. Now if I ask you what is the median of this data, as I said that it is the positional center. What we will have to do is we will have to see how many data we have. Here we have totally 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, irrespective of what their magnitude is, how large or how small they are. We just count the number and see which is the mid value. So here, as simple, we have the mid value is 18, and so this is our positional center, and so this is the median. Very simple. We just counted the data and we saw which is in the middle, and that is our median. Alright, so let's take another example and let's see if you're able to find the median from this. Let's say we have a data set here 20, 15, 25, 28, 18, 16 and 30. Now quickly tell me what is the median of this data. Well, you mean 28? No. Why? Because this is not the center. Although we have this as the data, what we need to do is, before finding the median, we need to arrange the data in an order. It could be either increasing order or it could be decreasing order. So important point before you go to find the thing is arrange the data in any order, in an order. So now when we arrange this data in order, let's do it from smaller to larger. So the smallest data is 15, followed by 16, and then 18, 20, then 25, 28 and finally 30. So we have, of course, the number of data is the same, n number of data, n is 7. Okay, so we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, we have 7 data, and now we can pick the middle one, which is 20. So this is our median. So always remember, you need to arrange the data in ascending or descending order before you could proceed to find the median, and thereafter it's simple. You just pick the middle value and that is your median. Fine. So let's take another question and see if you can find the median or not. Let's say we have a set of data as, say, 245, 230, 265, 236, say 220, and say 250. Yeah. So now tell me, what would be the center or the positional center, the median? Exactly, we need to first arrange it in an order. So let's do that first. Arrange it in order, ascending order. Let's say ascending order of this data would be, which is the smallest? Smallest seems to be 220, followed by 230, then 236, 245, and then we have 250, and finally 265. So now let's count from here. We have n, total number of data, equals 6. 1 2 3 4 5 6. So what is the middle one? Oh, the middle happens to be in between these two data. So what do we do in this case? Yeah, in this case what we do is we pick both the numbers next to the middle point, middle position, and we find the average of these two. So it would be 236 plus 245 divided by 2, and how much it comes out to be? It is 6 plus 5 1, 11, 1 carries on, so 8 here, and 2 plus 2 4. It is 481 divided by 2. When you divide it by 2, you get 2440.5. Yeah, so now your median for this set of data is 240.5. Well, seems tricky. No, not at all. Let me just elaborate. See, in this case, in both of these cases, so the first point is clear, right? That whatever, I mean, in whichever form the data is given, this point is common. You need to arrange the data in the ascending order. I may not be repeating it for the subsequent questions. It should come all by itself that the data needs to be arranged in an order. It could be increasing, I mean, in increasing order or decreasing order. So that is the first point. The second thing, when you notice here we had 5, n equals 5, we had 5 data, and here we had 7. In both these cases the number of data were odd, whereas in this case, this question when we took, let me write the question, say this is question number 1, this is question number 2, and finally here this is question number 3. Okay, so in question 1 and 2 my number of data was odd. Let me pick a different color so it was odd here and odd here as well. Whereas if we take the third question, the number of data was even. Yeah, you see, we have n equal to 6. So in case when we have odd number of data, your median could be calculated as directly the middle one, or you can say directly let's say n divided by 2. Yeah, so my n was 1 2 3 4 5, so it is 5 divided by 2, in fact n plus 1 divided by 2. Okay, so n plus, you can say the median for an odd data would be n plus 1 divided by 2, or divided by the 2 data. Okay, so the data falling in this position, n plus 1 by 2. So in this case, as we see, it is 5 plus 1 divided by 2, and 6 by 2 is 3, so it is the third data. So we picked the first, second, we picked the third data. Similarly here it was 7, so it will be 7 plus 1 by 2, so 8 by 2 is 4, so it is the fourth data. Fourth data was our median: first, second, third, and the fourth data. Okay, whereas in case of even number, in case of an even number here, even the median, well, this the symbol for median, like how for mean it was x with a bar at the top, here it's m with a small d. So the median for even number would be the average of two middle numbers. And which are these two middle numbers? So the two middle numbers are n by 2 and n by 2 plus 1. So you take the, let me write, you take the average of n by second number and n by 2 plus first number. Yeah, so like here in this case n was 6, so it is 6 by 2, which is third number. So we picked first, second, the third number, that is this, and n by 2 plus 1, which is 3 plus 1, the fourth number. So this is your fourth number. Yeah, so you pick and you find the average of these two numbers. So it is the average of n by 2 and n by 2 plus first number. That's clear? Yeah, quite a big deal. Unlike the the mean, here for even in the raw data, you need to remember certain things. First is that the data should be arranged in an order, and second, that the treatment for even number of data and odd number of data are different. In case of odd, we directly pick the middle one, but you can even do it by counting, or you can remember the formula n plus 1 by second data, and that would be your mean. Similarly for even, it is the two middle terms. You can just count and pick the two middle terms and find their average, or precisely you can remember that it is the n by second and n by 2 plus the first data. Alright, so that's the treatment of raw data. Now let's move on to the other types, that is the grouped and ungrouped frequency distribution. So let's start with ungrouped frequency distribution, and gradually we will move to the grouped frequency table. Alright, so let's take a question. Well, it's not mentioned here what kind of data is this, but then we have a data, we have the variables x given here, and we have the frequency given here as usual in case of frequency distribution table. So now in this case, how do we go about finding the median? Again, the first step, remember the first step is common. You need to arrange the data in ascending order. Now here we have x and f. Which of these two do we need to arrange in ascending order? Exactly, it is the x. X is the variable. F is just the number of times these variables are occurring. So we need to arrange the values of x in an order, and here we see in this question that it is already given in order starting from 10 up to 16, and the frequencies are given. Now I need to pick the middle one. So we need to see whether it is a case of even or odd number. And how do we know that? Of course, whenever we have the frequency given in any table, any question, we need to add up the frequency and see what is the value of n. What is the total number of times the data has occurred. Like in general, we can just count. Here we need to find the frequency. Alright, so let's find the frequency, and in Excel of course we can directly use our function sum and find the sum of this, It is 8 plus 15, 25, 20, 12, 10 and 5. Once you add all these and you see that the number is 95. Well, so that is our n, and whenever we add the frequency we use capital N, so that's 95. And then that's the second step. You add and find whether the total number of data is even or odd, and then you find the cumulative frequency of this. Cumulative frequency, that is the third step. Now what is cumulative frequency? Cumulative frequency is the accumulation of the frequency as we proceed. So, and it's simply calculated as the sum of the frequency in that line and the previous one. So here in the first variable the total frequency is 8. We don't have anything before that, so the cumulative frequency of this will be 8 itself. The second one, it will be the sum of the frequency here, that is for this case this is 15 and this 8. So let's do that. It is sum of 15 plus 8, 23. So 23 is the frequency, cumulative frequency of this. And as the next one, what would be the cumulative frequency? It will be 23, the previous frequency, plus the frequency of this variable 25, so it's 48. And likewise we can just drag this to the other cells and see what the frequency would be. So here it is 68, 48 plus 20 is 68. Next one would be 80, yeah, and then 90 and 95. Oh, so this 95, we see the sum of the cumulative frequency of the last variable and the total number of frequency would be the same. Why? Because this is nothing but, this 95 is nothing but the sum of all these frequencies taken once. Alright, so now we have n. Now we see that the n is an odd number, so what do? Yeah, exactly, we need to find, what's my n? N is 95. Plus 1, which is 96, and then I need to divide it by 2. Yeah, now it's coming fine, it's 48. So this means I need to pick the 48th data. 48 data. Now where is my 48th data? Well, now when we take this first data, we see that the frequency of this is 8. It means for the first 8 times the data occurring is 10. The 9th data is 11, and the frequency of this is 15, which adds to 8 to make it 23. That means from 9, that is one after this, from 9 up to 23 the data is 11. From 24 up to 48 it's 12. From 49 up to 68 it is 13, and so on. So now here we see that we need the 48th data, and that we see is here, this is 48th data. So what would be my median? Exactly, my median is 12, the one coinciding with the 48th data. So the median is 12. Is that clear? Yeah. So again the treatment is the same like how we had in the raw data. The only thing is that we are dealing with cumulative, with the frequency. So let me repeat the steps. First, you need to arrange the data in ascending or descending order. Here it's arranged already in ascending order. Next, you need to find the sum total of the frequency, which is 95 here, and then you need to find the cumulative frequency here. Okay, then find, for case of odd data, we see here the odd data, find the value by taking n plus 1 by 2, n plus 1 the whole divided by 2. That gives me 48. Okay, this means that the data, the variable corresponding to the 48th value is the median. Now we see that from 1 to 9, let me write here 1 to 8, from 1 to 8, the data is 10. From 9 to 23, it's 11. From 24 to 48, it is 12. Since, and here the next one is from 49 to 68, and so on. Since I need the 48th data, okay, then we take 12 as the median. That's here. That clear? Fine. So let's move on. Let's take a question here, another question, and you can pause me for a while and calculate the median yourself. Alright, hope you must have got the answer. As usual, the steps are the same. Let's start here. First we need to arrange the data. It's already arranged. Next I need to find the sum total of this. Sum total of this, let's do it here, is equal to the sum of 7 plus 14, 18, 36 up to 20, and the sum is 252. Well, next we need to find the cumulative. We need to find the cumulative frequency. Okay, cumulative for the first one is 7. Next is the sum of the 7 and 14, and so on. The next will be sum of 21 and 18, which will be 39, and then gradually we can just drop it down to all the thing, and we see that we get the total sum here, the cumulative frequency. Now this time we see that the n value of n is even, it's not odd. So in case of even, what we do, we need to pick two middle terms. And what are they? One is n by 2, so let's do that here. N by 2, this is my n by 2, and n by 2 happens to be 126, and then I need to pick n by 2 plus 1. N by 2 is 126 plus 1 is 127. So I need the 126th and 127th data. Now what is my 126th data? Again, coming to the cumulative frequency to pick. Here we see that this is my 126th data. Okay, and what about 127th? Exactly, it's the next one. So we have these two values here. My 126th data is 4 and my 127th data is 5. To be precise, 0 is my first data, and it's my second, it's my third, fourth, fifth, up to my 7th data. Okay, then 1 is from 8 up to 21. Yeah, the next from 22 up to 39, it's 2. Then from 40 up to 75, it is my data 3. And then from 76 up to 126, it is this class, which is 4. I needed 126th data, which is 4. And then from 127 up to 180, it is the next one, that is 5. I needed 127, so 126th and 127th data I have got. I need to find the average of these two, and that will be my median. So my median would be the average of these two, which is this plus this divided by 2. So it's 4.5. So my median in this case is 4.5. Alright, so again, very simple case. We have we need to remember whether n is even or n is odd. If it is odd, we are going to pick just one mid value. If it is even, we are going to pick two mid values and find their average. Okay, and before that, of course, we need to arrange the data in order. We need to find the sum of the frequency, and we need to find the cumulative frequency. Cumulative is just summing the frequencies in every step, accumulation of the frequencies. Alright, so that's the case of ungrouped frequency. We are left with the grouped frequency, which we will take up in the next class, in the next session. Keep watching Edupedia World.